So the great Miami Dolphins dynasty of the mid-70s was limited by their loss to Dallas in Dallas's first Super Bowl victory. Nobody's going to beat Roger Staubach in that game. But this player, along with Kick and Larry Zonka, with the terrible trio, that was probably the best running back, not say tandem, but trio in football history. We know that this guy deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame because 3 straight Super Bowl appearances, pretty well the top back at his position for most of the 1970s, were it not for some bad playoff luck after the 3 straight Super Bowl appearances. Dolphins would have had another dynasty, and of course, maybe the reason why he's not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame was a big criminal act he participated in during retirement. And like he said, it was a bad decision, but I'm not holding against him. He has passed away, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. The man we call Mercury, Eugene Edward Mercury Morris, has passed away at the age of 77. Now, he played in the NFL as a running back and kick returner. He played for 8 seasons, again, primarily for the Dolphins and later the Chargers. He made it as a rookie in the AFL in 69, and then a big player in the AFC following the 70 merger with the NFL. He played in 3 Super Bowls, winning twice, and was selected to 3 Pro Bowls. Unfortunately, in 1982, long after his career was done, he was convicted of felony drug trafficking charges. After 3.5 years in prison, he was released following a plea agreement in which he pled no contest to cocaine conspiracy charges. Don't really know who he was hanging with and don't really understand why he would make a decision like that, but he said, he was a motivational speaker. He said it was a bad time in my life. I'm not going to judge him because we all go through bad periods. Now, the native of Pittsburgh, born the first week of January in 47, he attended the beautiful Avonworth High School in the northwestern suburbs of the city. He did attend West Texas State University, now West Texas A&M, from 65 to 69, where he was All-American for the Buffaloes at tailback in 67 and 68. Only O.J. Simpson was a little bit better than him during that era. As in 67, he finished second in the nation to O.J. in rushing yards with 1274. In his record-setting year of 68, he set collegiate records for rushing yards in a single game with 340, rushing yards for a single season with 1571, and rushing yards over a 3-year college career, freshman being ineligible, with 3,388. Simpson did break the single-season rushing record just 1 week after Morris set it. Morris's 3-season career rushing record was broken 2 years later by Don McCauley. Now, we thought he was heading straight to the CFL because he wasn't really considered a high draft pick. But the Dolphins, not say took a chance, but he got him in the 3rd round. That was a friggin' steal. This was the 69 AFL-NFL coming draft. Now, when he first started, it was slow in his career. He excelled as both a running back and kick returner. The majority of his playing days were spent again with the Dolphins. Now, from 69 to 71, he backed up Jim Kick at halfback and served as the Dolphins' primary kickoff return man. In his rookie year of 69, he averaged 26.4 yards per kickoff return, leading the AFL in kickoff returns with 43, and a kickoff return yards with 1136. Both totals would have also led the NFL. His 105-yard return was the longest in the AFL that season, and he was only one of the AFL's leading punt returners that year. Now, in 1970, he did miss some time due to injury to his leg, but his 6.8 yard per carry average on 60 runs was the highest in the league among players with at least 50 runs. The only negativity, ladies and gentlemen, he was very prone to fumble, and we'll get that in a second. Now, in 71, despite being unhappy with his minimal playing time as the backup halfback, he helped the Dolphins to their first Super Bowl by leading the AFC with a 28.2 yard kickoff return average. Now, during the regular season, Morris also made the most of his opportunities at running back with 315 rushing yards and 57 carries for a 5.5 yard average. This would have led the NFL if he had enough carries to qualify. That season, Morris was also selected for the Pro Bowl for the first time as a kick returner, although he was also used as a running back in the contest. Now, in 72 and 73, 72, of course, the undefeated campaign won 2 rings and was selected for a Pro Bowl in both years. Now, in 72, he shared a halfback position with Kick, participating in a few less plays than Kick, but having more carries as a running back. That year, he ran for exactly 1,000 yards, 190 carries. becoming with teammate Larry Zonka the first 100-yard tandem in NFL history. Morris was first thought to have finished with 991 yards, but Dolphins management asked the league to examine a play in which Morris fumbled a lateral, so he was awarded the 9 yards previously recorded as lost in the play, giving him 1,000 yards for the season. That year, Morris also led the NFL with 12 rushing TDs, and his 5.3 yards per carry average was third in the NFL. Now, this was a totally different NFL, ladies and gentlemen. You don't see the 42-25 games like you see in the modern era. 21-17, 21-14, good defense against ball possession offense. Now, 73, he took over the starting halfback spot and rushed for 954 yards, 149 carries, despite playing with a severe neck injury late in the campaign. His 6.4 yard per carry average led the NFL, and he finished third in the NFL in rushing touchdowns. Now, he excelled in several playoff games leading up to Miami's 2 Super Bowl titles. In 72, he led Miami in rushing in both the divisional playoff game against Cleveland and the AFC title game against Pittsburgh with 72 and 76 yards respectively. In 73, he led the Dolphins in rushing for the divisional playoff game against Cincinnati with 106 yards and added 80 more rushing yards in the AFC title game against Oakland. Now, he continued playing for the Dolphins in 74-75 before spending the last season of his shortened career playing for the Chargers in 76. In 74, a knee injury suffered in preseason limited him to 5 regular season games that year. He missed the season opener and returned for the second contest of the campaign, but then re-injured the knee in Game 3. After playing 3 more games in November and December, he suffered a neck injury and re-injured the knee, effectively ending his season. In 75, Morris led the Dolphins in rushing with 875, despite sharing the halfback position with Benny Malone. Now, after being traded to San Diego for the 76 season, he ran for 256 yards and 50 carries that year and decided to retire after the campaign, in part due to lingering difficulties from his neck injury suffered in the 73 game against the Steelers and was re-injured in a car accident. He almost literally broke his neck in that contest against Pittsburgh. Now, he finished in the top 5 of the NFL in rushing touchdowns twice and total touchdowns once during his 8-year career. His carry average of 5.1 was third all-time among NFL players, first among halfbacks, behind just fullbacks Jim Brown and Marion Motley. As of 2017, he ranked 6th all-time behind Brown, Motley, running back Jamal Charles, and quarterbacks Michael Vick and Randall Cunningham. Morris's career kickoff return average of 26.5 is among the all-time top 20 for players with at least 100 returns, and was in the top 10 at the time of his retirement. As of 2017, he was ranked 18th. Now, an actor as well. In 74, Morris co-starred as Bookie Garrett in a blaxploitation film, The Black Six, alongside other football stars of the day. And of course, when he jumped to the WFL, that was a part of it as well, because it rankled a lot of feathers. The idea about Mercury Morris after his career ended, we didn't really see this coming. I followed his career, but this is where it got kind of freaky. After he did a movie called The Black Six, playing Bookie Garrett, alongside other football stars of the day, within 8 years he fell on hard times. And in 82 he was convicted of cocaine trafficking, sentenced to 20 years imprisonment with a mandatory 15-year term. On March 6, 86, the conviction was overturned by the Florida Supreme Court because evidence he had offered to prove his entrapment defense had been executed on a mistaken characterization as hearsay. Granted a new trial, he was able to reach a plea bargain with the prosecutor, resulting in his release from prison on May 23, 86, after having served 3 years. He later appeared in Anti-Cocaine PSA, where he talked about his time in prison. Now, he later went on to become a popular motivational speaker and also a role model for young players involved in football. Towards the end of 2006, he was also in a TV commercial for a hair treatment clinic alongside the great Wade Boggs. Unfortunately, he passed away on September 21st, 2024, at the age of 77. Now, his career basically comes down to 8 campaigns, And to me, the key one you got to look at is this, ladies and gentlemen. When he was on his game, he would be good between 800 and 1,000 yards per carry average, anywhere from like 5 to about 6. And his kick returning was great as well. He only had one receiving touchdown in his career. But here it gets kind of bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. He made 32 fumbles in his career and only recovered 4 by himself. So he was very prone to fumble. Career total, one contest away from 100, 42 games started, 804 attempts, 4,100 yards, 5 yards carry, an average of 41.7 a game. Longest run was 70, 31 TDs, of course, 22 in a back-to-back championship seasons of 72 and 73. Best receiving campaign, 72 as well, 15 for 101, 168. Again, Greasy's and Shula's multiple offense. What I remember the most about Mercury Morris, I always thought he would be better off with like another team, like the Raiders, the Steelers, or even the Cowboys, to let him just be the top back, and he was always sharing. For Mercury Morris to get 1,000 yards was amazing because he was only playing 3/4 at a time. But but that cocaine conviction just didn't make any sense. Mercury Morris, to me, always came across as a very cerebral guy. And things do happen. You're up against it. I can say this, ladies and gentlemen. I lived the 1970s, seeing the Colts and the Chargers and the Bengals and the Cowboys and the Redskins and the Dolphins, again, the Steelers, the Raiders. What a fortunate time for us to see Miami, like I said, the top 3 running backs on one team ever, and to see their domination. Again, were it not for the strength of Pittsburgh. You got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, Pittsburgh played into 4 Super Bowls from the AFC. Dolphins played in 3. That's 7 between 1971 and 1980. So they were the dominant team in the Raiders as well. So it was either Raiders, Dolphins, or Steelers, ladies and gentlemen. And sometimes one would beat the other. Denver was just a fluke in 78 because Pittsburgh was injured that year. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Mercury Morris fan, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm going to miss him. I never had a chance to meet the guy, but I know a lot of people that met him said he was a great dude. He was a great brother to all these the athletes for the Dolphins. And like I said, Larry Zonka said it best. He said, "Undefeated, you can never take it away. They are the greatest team of all time because to win 17 straight and to do so in such prestigious fashion, like using the system, they had aspects of the best defense and the best offense, but in a way like ball control. It was the most perfect team in the 1970s, and he was part of that. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Maybe he'll be considered down the road. I don't know if that cocaine situation. The media is crazy about things they cannot control. So, ladies and gentlemen, like what you're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share, and don't forget, as Mercury Morris probably once said, or Gail Sayers, I just need 6 inches of daylight is all I need. But imagine him and O.J. Simpson chasing the records, boys. What a great time for college and pro football. Thanks for listening. Bye.